Hey guys, it's Kyle Thompson here with eXp Realty, bringing you another weekly market update, and this week we're focusing on detached homes. Let's dive right in. Okay, starting off big picture. Last month we had 171 new listings, 81 new sales. The average list price was 838,300. The average sale price was 807,950, which gave us an average sale price to list ratio of 96.35. The average days on market was just shy of 51, and we ended the month with an inventory of 416 units. So let's jump over and take a look at what that does for the market conditions. As always, I use both the monthly supply of inventory method as well as the sale to new list ratio, as I find using both measures gives a more complete picture of what's going on in the market. With that said, using the monthly supply of inventory method, we came in at 5.12, which puts us squarely into a neutral market. And if we use the sales to new list ratio instead, we come in at 47%, which also puts us into a neutral market. Now let's jump over and take a look at the active inventory last month. New listings dipped slightly month over month, falling from 174 in August down to 171 in September. New sales also fell from 102 down to 81 month over month. Expireds did tick up from 41 to 54, which is fairly typical as we start to go into the winter months. And the benchmark price for a home in Kamloops fell, what is that, $8,400 from 670,300 down to 661,900. Now let's jump over and take a look at the end of month inventory. We ended the month with an inventory of 416 units, which is the third highest in the last decade and the highest this time of year going back to 2017. If we look at new listings instead, we see that so far year to date, there's been 1,664 new listings, which is the second highest in the past 10 years, only behind 2016. And currently we are sitting about 8% above the trailing 10-year average of 1,544. If we take a look at units sold instead, we see that so far year to date, there's been 754, which is the lowest in the past 10 years. And currently we are sitting about 21% below the trailing 10-year average of 950. Now let's jump over and take a look at the sales dashboard, starting off with the average sale price. This table is measuring full year over full year, so 12 months over 12 months. And when looked at that way, the average sale price is actually up 2.86%, rising in aggregate from 777,000 and change up to 799,000 and change. Currently, the most expensive areas of town are Sun Peaks, Tobiano, and Dufferin, ranging between 1,057,000 up to 1,740,000. And the cheapest areas of town are Paul Lake, Pritchard, and Cherry Creek, Sabinaw, all with an average sale price ranging between 465,000 up to 500 and call it 2,000. Now let's take a look at the sale to list price ratio. So all this is a measurement of how much properties are selling below the list price on average, and it's a good proxy for how much negotiating room there is. With that said, the sale to list price ratio rose, what is that, about 0.85% month over month, meaning that there is less negotiating room when you are the buyer. And currently we're sitting about middle of the road over the last 12 months. Now let's take a look at sales by sub area. This table is a full year over a full year again, and when looked at in aggregate, sales are up about 3.3%, rising from 941 up to 975. It's a bit of a mixed bag as to which ones are doing well and which ones are not. So if you would like to take a closer look, feel free to pause the video. I'm moving on to average days on market, starting off with the 10-year. So far, year to date, it's taken an average of 46 days for detached homes to sell, which is about 11% above the trailing 10-year average of 41. If we look at the trailing 12 months instead, we see that last month, days on market fell about 9 days down to 51, and currently we're sitting about 1% above the trailing 12-month average of 50. finally, let's look at days on market by sub area. Again, this is full year over full year again. And when looked at that way, in aggregate, average days on market are up about 8%, with the fastest areas of town to sell being South Cam, Barnhartville, Aberdeen, and Sahalee, all with an average days on market under 40, whereas the areas taking the longest to sell are Paul Lake, Red Lake, and Sun Peaks, with an average days on market ranging between 126 up to 190 days. That's all we have for today. I really hope that you guys are continuing to get value out of these market updates. If you are, please consider liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel. And if you ever want something added to these market updates, or maybe you feel like something needs to be more thoroughly explained, please feel free to leave your comments or suggestions in the comment section below, and I'll get to them as soon as I'm able. I appreciate you taking the time, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.